Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're bringing you a fascinating deconstruction of a story that, honestly, on the surface just looks like a very simple children's tale. But when we really look closely at the text of The Little Girl Who Trusted Allah, we find this brilliant, tightly woven narrative about integrity, temptation, and the absolute power of spiritual accountability. I am so excited to guide you through this, so let's get right into it. First, I want you to step directly into the shoes of our protagonist for a second. Imagine you're walking alone. And right there on the ground, you spot a purse. You open it up, and it is just full of money. No one's around, no one is watching you. What is your very first instinct? What would you actually do? It's a classic moral dilemma, and it's exactly the crisis that drives the core of the narrative we're analyzing today. Okay, let's dive into this timeline. We're going to map out what is essentially a micro-hero's journey across 4 distinct scenes. First up, setting the intention in the morning. Then, the catalyst of the lost purse. Next, taking action and making a decision. And finally, the spiritual return, or the reward. Let's start with scene 1, meeting Aisha the helper and establishing her baseline intention. The text immediately establishes our protagonist, Aisha, as this kind little girl who loves Allah. And her morning quote just perfectly grounds her character. She says, Bismillah, I will help Mama today. By starting her day with Bismillah, in the name of Allah, she's basically building a rock-solid foundation of helpfulness and spiritual connection, long before she encounters any kind of challenge. You see, she's proactive about her goodness, before the universe even tests her. That brings us to scene 2, the ultimate temptation, the catalyst, and the crisis. So, while walking home, Aisha sees a small purse on the ground. She acknowledges someone must have lost it, but then she opens it and sees the money inside. This sets up an intense internal conflict in that split second. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clash we see. On the left side, we have this immediate material pull. I could buy many toys. It's an incredibly natural human response, right? Especially for a kid. But clashing directly against that on the right side is her spiritual awareness. Allah is watching me. It's this sudden, heavy collision between what she desires in the physical world and what she knows to be true in the spiritual one. Let's just slow down for a second here and really appreciate the weight of Aisha's thought process. She literally says it out loud. I could buy many toys, but Allah is watching me. In just one single sentence, we see her entirely process this temptation. She acknowledges the temptation, she doesn't pretend the toys wouldn't be nice, but that word but acts as a massive psychological pivot. Her deep-seated belief instantly overrides her momentary desire. Moving right along to scene 3, making the right choice and resolving the conflict. So the internal conflict is resolved in her mind, and now she has to act. She looks around and spots an old woman crying nearby, and the old woman's distress is just palpable in the text. She cries out, "My purse is missing. It had all my money." This moment is so crucial because it instantly validates Aisha's internal realization. The money wasn't just some abstract windfall, It belonged to a real person who is now experiencing real suffering. Any lingering thought of keeping it is completely shattered by the reality of this woman's tears. Notice the direct, immediate action Aisha takes here. She doesn't hesitate for a second. She quickly hands the purse over and simply asks, "Is this yours?" The old woman confirms it with a huge, "Yes, thank you, my dear child." Just like that, Aisha's honesty instantly eases another person's suffering. The conflict is completely resolved through clear, honest action. Finally, we reach scene 4, the true reward and our ultimate takeaway. We're now in the aftermath of the crisis. The old woman is relieved, she smiles and makes dua, a prayer of supplication for Aisha. So the crucial point is where Aisha's focus truly lies. She actively rejected the idea of an earthly prize or excessive praise because her ultimate goal was only to please Allah. She affirms this by stating, Allah sees every good deed. And the text beautifully concludes that Allah never, ever lets a good deed go to waste. And this brilliantly illustrates a highly practical 4-step framework for handling our own moral temptations that we can pull directly from Aisha's journey. Step 1, you find the item. That's the catalyst. Step 2, you pause and remember the spiritual reality that Allah is watching. Step 3, you take immediate action to return it to the owner. And step 4, you seek only the spiritual reward, completely letting go of any expectation for a worldly payback. It really is a perfect blueprint for integrity. This brings us to the explicit moral of the source text. Always be honest and do good for Allah. Allah knows every good deed.
It's a simple sentence, for sure, but as we've seen by breaking down the text today, it's backed up by profound psychological resilience and a deep, unshakable faith.
Which leaves us with this final thought to take away from today's explainer. The text promises that every good deed is known. So, looking at Aisha's incredible example of choosing unseen integrity over visible reward, how will you practice honesty today? What small, quiet good deed will you do when you think absolutely no one else is looking? Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this wonderful story. Keep learning, keep doing good, and I'll catch you in the next one.